So today I'm doing an experiment to see how long my down jacket can withstand a light drizzle before soaking through and becoming ineffective as an insulator. We all heard that down when wet is no good. So this is just a test for me and my gear to know its limits. So when I'm out, in the woods or whatever, I know what my gear can handle. So follow along. Right now it's 40 degrees. There's a light drizzle. It's not a heavy rain yet. Hopefully we can get some nice wet weather. I'll be just walking along an old logging road. So probably not a whole lot to see. But the point is, how long can my jacket last before it's ineffective? As far as the clothes I'm wearing, I just have just like 100 weight fleece on, and my hiking shirt over the top of that is all I have. And then I'll have my down jacket. And the jacket I'll be using is the one I always use, and that's from Feathered Friends. It's a Feathered Friends. I think it's the EOS. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's EOS. But either way, that's my jacket. I love it. It's awesome. It's warm. So let's do this. So this is the jacket, Feathered Friends. So this is what I'll be testing. You can see it's dry. Just got out of the car. On the ground, you can see behind me just a little bit of snow, kind of like ice on the ground. But like I said before, I think it's at 38 degrees, so close to 40. I'm toasty. Right now I'll be walking, so I imagine I'll stay toasty. It's more to test the DWR finish on the jacket, just to see how long it takes before it wets through, if it does wet through. Well, eventually everything wets through, but how long, how well does the down hold up, things like that. How warm can I stay even after it's wet? It's kind of like experimenting with it. But anyway, just show you the jacket, show you where I am. Let me turn the camera around if I can while it's recording. Doesn't look like I can when I'm recording. So this is the camera turn around. This is where I am. I'll just be following this road for a while and hopefully getting wet. So just an update. Snow's getting a little deeper. The rain's getting a little more. You can see that my hood starting to build up on the hood. It's been about, I don't know, some time. I need to check, but it's starting to build up. I can imagine that seam on top of my shoulder would be a weak point, maybe for some water to eventually get in through the threads and stuff like that. So far, I put my hand, I did, just doing a feel underneath, and I don't feel anything in that area that's moist or anything like that. So at least for that, so far it's dry inside. It hasn't really bled through the DWR. On the front, I tried wiping it to see if I could get it on purpose to bleed through, and it is in places, but it's not quite building up enough to go into the jacket. So just an update. I'll keep walking and keep updating. So I've been out here for over an hour now. The rain is about the same. You can see the DWR on it. There are some spots, like you can see right here. Pretty much anywhere that you kind of brush against, it'll start to look like it's going through. You can see where my hands are, those pockets and stuff like that. But overall the jacket's holding up pretty well. So I think, you know, it's not a rain jacket. If I was going on an adventure and there's rain in the forecast, then yeah, definitely I'm gonna be having a rain jacket, a shell for that. So in reality, this shouldn't be just put out in the rain, you know, thinking that, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and you know, if it's gonna rain, I'm gonna have a rain jacket. I just wanted to see, you know, if I get caught in something unexpected with me, you know. So anyway, it's just testing the limits of my gear. I recommend that for anybody. If you have a down jacket, synthetic, even. I have a synthetic. I'm going to do the same thing, and just try it, test its limits. Because when I'm out miles away from anybody, my gear is what I depend on. So I need to know its limits. I need to know, am I bringing enough? So because this is holding up to the rain, I'm gonna put it through one more little test, because I want it soaked, and that's kind of a thing, because I'm also not just testing the shell or the fabric. I want to test the down. So I'm gonna submerge it or put it in a puddle. Because there's snow on the ground, the puddles are clean, so I'm just gonna lay it in a puddle, as if I've been in the rain prolonged period of time and it's soaked. I just want to see what that's going to be like. So I have it laying in that puddle. I'll let it lay for a little bit, and then I'll flip it over and let it lay again. What is this mimicking? I don't really know. I just want to get it wet, and see its loft ability and its insulation ability. I am a little bit from the car, you know, about a, I don't know, 20-minute walk or so. So I'm not really worried. I'm not gonna freeze to death out here. This is just a good controlled experiment. So I flipped it over. I'm pushing it down in the water, letting it sit for a little while. It's actually, you know, the DWR is still holding up pretty good. So I don't know if it's really infiltrating the baffles as much. I noticed on the shoulder that piece of, you know, that seam right there, water can get in where the seam is, but actually infiltrating the baffle itself and getting the down wet seems more difficult than I expected. I expected it to saturate a little quicker. But anyway, so just let this sit for a little while, push on it. But I'm actually really pleased with its ability. So I flipped it back over again one more time, and you can see where the zipper is and kind of where the pocket is. I noticed that was the most, because I think my hands were in there and I was rubbing up against it. So that's where it's saturating the most, but it still has a good loft. But I'm just gonna let it sit a little longer, put it on. We'll shake it out real good and then put it back on. So I got it out of the puddle, put it back on. Well, I shook it off and then put it back on. So I'll walk the rest of the way. I mean, it's still puffy, but I'll walk back. Maybe the rain will penetrate some more, but quite pleased actually. I thought for sure that puddle would have done more to it, but all right. You know it's cold when you sniffle a lot. But I'm gonna walk back to the car and then take a look and give my final impressions. Okay, so now I'm back at the car. I just wanted to show you the jacket inside out so you can see where water was protruding in. And I don't know if you can see the discoloration here and here. That's along the seam, and like I was saying before, that's that shoulder seam. So it was getting in there. Not a lot. If you look at my shoulder, there's a tiny little dot of water, and then right, I don't know if you can see it, but right along here, that's the base of the neck. So where the hood attaches, right there, you could see it's a little damp. I don't believe that was from submerging it. I believe that's just from the rain. And again, it's a seam thing, and it's not a rain jacket, so it's gonna protrude through the seams. That's just what's gonna happen. But it did not get through any of the baffles, and you can see, I don't know if you could tell, but that's still pretty puffy jacket. You see the outside. The pocket was still plenty puffy to give me get my hands warm. I got pretty chilled taking it off to put it in the puddle, putting it back on just a few minutes later, and I was back up warm again. So the fact that this can keep its loft with a little water, keep me warm at about 40 degrees, I'm impressed. So many people say down is, I don't know. That's why I do stuff like this, to get my own, All right, so that's my final impression. I'm really impressed how it held up in the rain. Again, on a real hike, if I'm especially going out overnight or a couple of days, if there's rain in the forecast, I'm gonna bring a shell. I'm not gonna just wear my jacket, out in the rain, because this is my lifeline. This is what's gonna keep me warm when it's cold. So I'm gonna do what I can to protect it, to keep me warm. This experiment was just to see its limits, how well it would hold up if for some reason I was caught in the rain unexpectedly, or I didn't have what I thought I had, or whatever. How does it perform? And I'm happy with it. So hope this was helpful. It's just really me having fun. I thought I'd record it and share it with anybody who could use the information. All right, well, we'll see you on the next one.